Give me blood or give me glory. Just please, crypto, don't give me boring. But that's exactly what's happening right now. Let me show you why the market is rather indecisive right now, and it's going to have to work its way out of it in order to get hot one way or the other. So let's dive in. First element of indecision. This is the CME chart of Bitcoin. So this is where the big boys play, essentially, as I noted in my last video. So this is not spot trade, rather where the big boys play on futures, right? The institutions, all that stuff. So in order to break the daily downtrend, CMEs needed to close this day or any day in this box or higher, and it came right up to it. Let's zoom in, and it got rejected by it. So the Bitcoin is still in a full-on downtrend with lower lows and lower highs the whole way down. But so here's where the indecision is. So on spot trade, it's still in a downtrend, on CMEs, it's still in a downtrend, but on spot trade, you did get a closure in the box that we needed, but it's still not in an uptrend. I had one person comment on YouTube say, hey, we're in an uptrend. Actually, no, we're not. It is called a no trend. So until yesterday, when this candle closure right here, I'll zoom in, see that it closed in the box. So you can have a downtrend. I'm going to have to zoom out to do this. You can have a downtrend, an uptrend, and a no trend. In order to have either this one or this one, you have to have two things the same. First, you have to have higher highs and you have to have a lower low, period. You have to have one of each. You have to have double, right? To be in an uptrend. To be in a downtrend, you have to have lower lows and lower high, local highs. So right now on spot trade, you don't have a higher low. You only have one of two, therefore you are in a no trend. So Bitcoin is not in a daily uptrend, no matter how you cut the cake. And a lot of people put more weight on CMEs, so it's still in a downtrend. Now, if this day flips green and closes in here, sure. Now Bitcoin is in a full-on no trend with a weekly uptrend, which technically would give you a bullish bias. All right, so now what we're going to do, so that's the trend being indecisive. And on Ethereum as well, you are in a no trend because on the daily chart, let's take off the EMA because we don't need it. It's a little harder to see here, but you do have, so you have lower lows, but then you came up, made one higher low. So it does have one of two. But in order to get into an uptrend, Ethereum needs to close a day here. And let's zoom in on these two candles. It also got rejected by that box. It has to close in this box or higher to be in an uptrend. So Ethereum does have a chance to be an uptrend before Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has to come all the way back down and form a higher low in order to be in an uptrend, right? On spot trade, on CMEs, it has to do both. It has neither a higher high nor a higher low. So the chance of Ethereum getting into a full-on uptrend while Bitcoin CMEs are in a full-on downtrend, I think that chance is really low. So probably what's going to happen is CMEs will come down and potentially make a higher low first and then charge up. And at that point, Ethereum will close in this box. And then you'll have Bitcoin in a no trend and Ethereum in a daily uptrend. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine Ethereum being an uptrend when Bitcoin is in a full-on downtrend, but it could happen. So that's what I'm looking. So that also, so Ethereum versus Bitcoin, what's happening here adds to a little bit more indecision in the market. So I'm getting ready to show you one small trick that helps you understand general market direction, and it's extremely easy to use. And if you don't know how to follow along with what I'm getting ready to do, I did just make a video, and I'll link it to you at the end, about how to set up a chart just like mine. And you'll be able to, I show you how to set up this exact indicator that I'm getting ready to use. But this indicator is, in terms of market direction, it's fairly foolproof, so you can get the overall gist of the market. So I'm getting ready to show this to you. And but before we do, make sure, especially you returning viewers who watch my channel the most, your likes are the most important. Help me out, continue making videos for you. Also, leave me a quick comment. You don't have to make some crazy long comment, turning your head and leaving me the weirdest thing. Thank you for everybody for doing that, though. It's really fun to see how far some people went with typing the weird stuff down there. However, I want to know what your thoughts are. So leave me a comment down below on when Bitcoin will close a daily candle above 58K. I want your dates. Make your best guesses down below. And I'll probably also make a Twitter poll, but the dates will have to, I only have 4 options. So I want to see all the dates that people think down below. And so let's jump back into this chart and check out this indicator so we can also confirm that this is going to continue to be boring, although I would prefer red candles or green candles, but this is just going to keep being boring. If Discord community is not for you, go ahead and check out the introductory video to my YouTube channel tiers. It's essentially like Discord Lite. People like me, especially my age, Discord's kind of confusing. So check out the join button. I do describe it there. And as you hit join, it doesn't sign you up and take your money. Rather, it gives you a video to watch so you can determine if that's for you. And also make sure you follow me on Twitter at 𝐾𝐢𝐬𝐼𝐻𝑉𝐪2. And links to the Discord in my description section of all my videos if you want to have the ability to turn on both your microphone and your camera and ask me questions directly and live. I just got off of a 1-hour VIP morning check-in we do every Monday and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. New York City time. So links to that in the description section. Let's jump back in. So what I'm going to do is use an RSI indicator, and I'm going to be on Bitcoin to do this, and I will remove RSI itself, and I will only use the smoother version of it, or the EMA of the RSI. And again, in video, I'm going to link you at the end. I'll show you how to do this. So I'm on the Bitcoin monthly chart. And again, this is only RSI. So I double click off of this. You can see price, double click back in. You can see only this. So I'm up here. So check out what I'm doing up here with the time frames. So monthly, the slope is down. So the general direction of Bitcoin on the monthly is down. There's no other interpretation of this. Okay. All right. 2 weeks, slope is down. The weekly, the slope is down. So you see how I'm clicking these buttons up here? Okay. So down, down, down. 5-day, down. 2-day, neutral. So, and this is a kind of a cool trick that I'm getting ready to show you here. So I will do 2 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour, daily, 2-day, 5-day, weekly, monthly, 2 week, and monthly. So right now we have all of these down. So I will make that red. This is neutral. So it's neither positive nor negative. I will make that yellow. Okay. All right. So we're on the 2-day. Now my box is moved, but whatever. All right. The daily is positive. So the slope, 12 hour is positive. So you see how the 2-day was, so see how it's negative, 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 weekly negative, 5-day negative, the neutral. And as I keep going this way, so you see how I'm going this, so see where my cursor is? I'm going this way. It's not a coincidence that the 2 days, the neutral one, and everything to that direction is now positive. So we're going to figure out when it stops being positive. So watch. So so now that that's the neutral, you would guess that the next one should be positive. It is positive. 12 hour, positive slope. 8 hour, positive slope. 4 hour, it's getting more neutral. So either the 2 hour will be neutral or negative. And it's negative. So all we have is 4, 8, 12, and daily as positive. So I need to go back to the 2-day chart where I've done this. And these are positive. Is that right? Was the 4 hour? Yeah, the 4 hour is positive. All right. So now let's go to the lower time frames. Let's go to the 2 hour. It's negative. 1 hour is neutral. So let's go back to the 2-day chart, and I guess I will type in here 1 hour. Okay, now look at that. So check this out. This also confirms that the market is pretty indecisive right now. Not only do you have, a situation where the 2-day splits red versus green, but the green itself is split up. So the market is a little bit, so it's mildly indecisive on the lower time frames, although it's mostly bullish. The higher time frames are bearish, and the midterm time frames are, back and forth. So the market in general is boring, and you can, if you do this, right? So if you could just not look at price and you did this like every day or something, or once a week or something to that effect, if you see the result of it being something like this without even looking at price, you're only looking at this RSI ZMA, you will be able to tell if the market's boring or not. And so this confirms that this is going to be boring, and it could be for a bit. So, but it also tells you what needs to happen for the market to not be boring and to give you green candles. You need full on agreement. So remember, the 4 hour is almost neutral, right? I maybe should have made that. Honestly, I probably should have made this something like this. So the 2 hour. So what you need to do here is, if you think that the low term timeframes are going to start being bullish, you need the 2 hour and the 4 hour timeframes to be bullish, because then you'll have all of this be a green. And if all of these are in agreement, it can then flip the 2-day to be in positive, which then, after all of this is one big green box, that has a chance of knocking the 5-day into yellow. Then, 5 days later, knocking it into green, and then this will become yellow. And then a week later, this will become green, so on and so forth. But in order to knock this to yellow, then green, then knock this to yellow, then green, then so on and so forth, you typically need these all in agreement. So what this does is, if you're trying to analyze things, this helps you understand which charts you will need to be looking at. So if you are looking for a reversal in the market, this says the 2 hour and the 4 hour are the charts to be staring at. And until all of these are in agreement, you're really not going to have much happen, because it's roughly an even split in the market from a yin and yang, right? So big time frames, small time frames, mid time frames in the middle. It's like a perfect split. So it's indecisive from a macro sense, and on the smaller time frames, you don't have the agreement to flip the 2-day bullish yet. It's not there, right? And so in order for this to work out, this is something that I would be looking out for on an EMA perspective. Let me delete this stuff here real quick. And again, that's something that's a trick that a few of my community members really liked. A lot of them said, "Holy cow, I've never thought about it that way." But that would happen like several months ago. So hopefully you enjoy that free content, because a lot of people really enjoyed that with the paid for community, and it can really help you understand the general market sentiment and the watch. So most importantly, here's the important thing. It helps you understand if you have a bias, which is fine to have a bias. You just need to know to guard yourself, right? But you need to know. It helps you identify what chart to look at so that your bias turns into reality. And if those timeframes don't do what you need it to do to make one big green block, then your bias is wrong. So you know what chart to look at. Do you see how valuable that is? All right. But so in the idea that this is a pretty indecisive market, my go-to always and forever on this type of matter is the weekly 10 EMA. It's that freaking simple. So if the market's indecisive in those types of moments, what often happens is the weekly 10 EMA, it will be ridden. So it like price will, if it's going to flip bullish, while this is indecisive like it is, because it's got to flip a lot of big time frames, right? The monthly, 2-week, weekly are all red. And it's not just going to it's likely not just going to happen. It could, but what's more likely going to happen is, if it's going to flip those bullish, as this 10 EMA keeps coming along like this, price will likely ride it, or it'll ride it from below, get above, ride it like this. I have a feeling this. So I don't know if you remember that recent analysis about, I gave 4 fractals of what could happen, right? As Bitcoin was down there near, when it wicked down to 40K or whatever it went down to on that big crash. I said, I gave 4 fractals and 2 were stable coins. Bitcoin turned into a stable coin. It kind of looks like that's what's going to happen here. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't want this either, folks, but I'm trying to prepare you to get bored. Like, and so, so check this out. So I think that has a strong chance of getting boring and writing this line in order to so within that red block that we made earlier, I think the first one was the 5-day. In order to turn the 5-day yellow, I think it's got to ride this line for a bit. And then with time, as it keeps riding and coming up, it could take till February for this to even get close to all-time highs. It's going to take a bit. So let me show you other examples. Watch. So moments of indecision. What happened? Let me zoom in a little bit better here. Look, price rode the 10 EMA. Price rode the 10 EMA. Okay. Do you know how boring this was? Look how many days this is. 30 days of sideways. Look. 30 days of sideways. And you might say, Tim, it's already been 25 days or whatever of sideways. Yeah, but it's not above the weekly 10 EMA. So it's going to be more sideways after it gets above it, most likely. Because that red box, it's like, you know, if you're in jail or whatever and you're trying to break out, like, what is it, the Three Musketeers or the Count of Monte Cristo where he chips out? I think it's the Count of Monte Cristo. So it's like chipping out a cell wall trying to escape, you know, back in the past or whatever. Like you slowly chip away. Okay. That block, you have to chip away at the 5-day first, turn it yellow, keep chipping, turn it green, right? So in order to do that, you need to start getting above the weekly 10 EMA, and it's not even up there. So yeah, we've been sideways below it, but then you got to get above it and go sideways most likely. Can it be flipped by just screaming up and doing something? So we've been hovering under the 10 EMA, something like this. Can you just go like this? Absolutely. But that sets you up to cause a dead cat bounce. So look, every time it just screams above, it has the habit of coming right back down. So just going on full bull mode, I promise you, it's not what you want. Going boring through like in sideways as long as possible, like 6-8 more weeks is going to be so much better for Bitcoin. I promise you. And it looks like that's about what's ready to cook up and happen if it goes up. And I'm not even saying I promise this is going up, but this is, you know, most sentiment for Bitcoin is bullish right now, which it should be because I think Bitcoin is highly undervalued. And my personal opinion, if I can go on a rant, is that most things on the top 20 of coin market cap are way overvalued. My personal opinion. You don't have to agree or disagree. I'm not trying to convince you. That's just I'm kind of like a pseudo Bitcoin maximalist here. I like Bitcoin, Monero, and monetary coins because I think it's the ultimate use case of all of crypto is freeing people of their governments printing money, and that I think it's the ultimate use case. But anyway, but I'm open to changing my mind slowly. Anyways, but the point is though, what you can't really argue against is typically a sign of health is not going under the 10 EMA blasting above, because if you backtrack that, it simply sets you up for failure more. I think it's more often than not. What is healthier is to creep up. So kind of like this, but creep up slowly under it. So this has a neutral slope. You want a neutral slope as this happens, which means price is tucked under it. So you either want a consolidation just under it with a neutral slope of the 10 EMA, or you want to get on top of it. So it did blast on top and it was able to hold the line and got boring, which was good, right? Boring was good. Okay, let's check another one. Look, okay, so this was the end of this was capitulation after the 2017 20K top over there. So over here was the 20K top. Right. And then capitulation down to 3,200 in 2019 in January. And so what happened? Boring. Do you know how boring this was? But look, so that's 50 days, right? Total. And how many days once it got above? So let's call this one above. It was boring for another month. Again, after it got above, it was boring for a month. And was it good for Bitcoin? Hell yes. It catapulted it up to 14K for like a mini bull market, essentially. And so like let's go back even more. So Bitcoin, there are exceptions like this. It consolidated under it while it had a negative slope, which is not what we're looking for. It did blast up and it didn't fail. So there are absolutely exceptions to this. It could happen, but it's just not likely, because usually when you blast above, you come straight back down. You blast above, you come straight back down. What's better is to be boring on it, then blast. And then your chances of success within that move is going to be much greater. So another example, look, consolidated under it, but the slope was negative. That's not great. You want a neutral slope of the weekly 10 EMA while you're consolidating under it or consolidating on top of it. Both of those are good. And what happened? It blasted above and failed, right? So right now, take a look. So hopefully that's compelling, right? But so is this slope negative or is it positive? It's negative. So we're kind of consolidating under it. You don't want to scream up because it's most likely going to come straight back down. That's not what you want. And but also independent of what we want, those timeframes that I was showing you, if things are going to be bullish, it's kind of indicating that that is how it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to simply do that. You know, one of the few examples or exceptions to the rule of being boring, it doesn't look like it's going to just charge up and then change the whole market by just a big push that never comes back down. It has happened, but it's not likely. And this is what I'm seeing in the market. And this, hopefully this video for you has been valuable using that RSI's EMA. So if you want to check out the exact indicator and watch that whole video on how to set up a chart like mine, go ahead and click this link right here. Also, if you missed my Bitcoin video describing candles and stuff, it really is valuable stuff. If you want to learn what candlestick trading is, just to have the information on it, very valuable stuff. Click this video right here. And if you're new to my channel, click the circle right here, subscribe to my channel, make sure you hit that bell so I can deliver time sensitive information to you. You just got Timified worldwide. Peace.